gentlemen, please welcome the man whose birth was so difficult, it was nicknamed the Big Push, Craig Charles.
It's been a long time coming, but rev yourselves up for the biggest display of total destruction ever. The grand final of the Fourth Wars. Yes, folks, this is what 16 heats and 2 semi-finals have all been about. Forget the it's taking part that counts. It was taking your opponent apart that mattered, and boy, does some robots do just that. Later on, we'll be honouring some of those amazing robots and roboteers who've made this the most spectacular Robot Wars so far. But now, if you missed any of the carnage of the past few months, then first, expect Sir Kill-A-Lot around to your house to give you a brain transplant, and second, you'd better relive the road to Armageddon.
Over 1,000 teams applied to take part in the Fourth Wars. Only 96 were chosen to do battle in the infamous Robot Wars arena. 32 of them seeded on past performance, innovation and design creativity. That's just under 300 competitors involved in the titanic struggle to become the victors. We've seen 5 months of carnage, destruction and metal mayhem, and now we're only moments away from the grand final. Only one can win. Only one will raise that coveted trophy and proclaim to the world they are the Robot Wars Grand Champions. Let's take a look at the story so far. Heat 1 saw the welcome return of reigning champions, the impressive Chaos 2, who stormed back into the arena and were quick to send Indefatigable out. Newcomers to the Wars, Medusa 2000, were tossed and turned and ended up in the pit. And Atomic managed to secure the same fate for King V3, with a little help from Sir Kill-A-Lot. And in the Heat final, Atomic felt the full wrath of Chaos 2, who started to show the sort of form which took them to the title in the Third Wars, and they claimed the first place in the series semi-finals this time around. In the second heat, Pussycat seed number 19 sunk Kitty Claus into Reptiron. They left the arena in a blaze of glory. So did Millie Anberg after its brush with Razor, the current world champions. Robo Chicken was no match for the cat either, and Razor did look promising in the Heat final until they got stuck in forward gear and Pussycat got stuck in for some serious damage. The Razor team weren't happy that engineering faults had let them down for a second successive Wars. The cat still had 9 lives. Heat 3 saw the 5th seed Firestorm 2 back with more power and manoeuvrability than ever before. They quickly dispatched the Morgue, while old favourites Tour lasted a mere few moments at the hands of Ming 2 before their dreams of making the semis went up in smoke. Again, problems for the Irish boys, doubling by the minute. The Morgue got a lucky break. They were reinstated after Scar had to retire. In the Heat final, they met Firestorm 2 again. They thought they'd beaten them when Firestorm fizzled out into the pit. But this excitement changed to despair as after closer inspection, the judges ruled that the Morgue had gone into the pit first and Firestorm 2 got the judges' vote.
So they've given it to Firestorm!
Steg 2 returned for Heat 4 and soon showed Kronos a few lessons they'd learnt from Chaos 2 about weaponry. 23rd seed Mortis was quick to conquer Mazakari, and Steg 2 showed no fear with iron ore pneumatic flipper weapons now becoming a major feature of this series. In the Heat final, Mortis were flipped, and a fault with their self-righting mechanism meant they bombed out of the competition once more, always bridesmaids, never the brides. In Heat 5, ground control all went wrong for Major Tom after it decided to disco the Dance of Doom with Matilda and then soft shoe shuffle with Shunt. David Crosby and the girls from Dartford Girls Grammar School returned to the Fourth Wars with Son of Napalm, but they fell foul to the awesome Dominator too early on and ended up in the pit of oblivion. Oh, see me after class, Teacher David! Dominator then dominated the fight against 101, whose lack of weaponry proved telling. Dominator, who'd only previously competed in pinball and not the main battles, took the eye of the judges.
The decision is unanimous, and the winners are Dominator 2!
The Sick Heat brought double trouble in the guise of Gemini, the first ever clusterbox seen on Robot Wars. Along with Tornado, they were quick to get rid of Caterkiller and then crushed the creature's hopes. A slow step, some rock and roll, and then instead of softening the blow, the old heave-ho. But Tornado proved the strong silent type as it rammed one half of Gemini onto an arena spike. Both halves had to be mobile to survive. Gemini's speed controller blew, and Tornado breezed through. In Heat 7, it was a bright start, but then a gruesome tango for Gravedigger with Sir Kill-A-Lot. It saw the end of their challenge. They dug their own grave. And Thermidor 2 soon got its claws into Dreadnought XP1, the Dreadnought sunk. Thermidor then went on to make light work of Chronic the Wedgehog, who curled up into a ball, rolled down into a pit, and went to eternal hibernation. Wedge of tin, be a little bit more spiky next time. Heat 8 was about revenge, we were told. Wheelie Big Cheese had a grudge to bear against a Killer-Lot, but the Master of Mayhem wasn't in a playful mood with anyone. Newcomers Maverick rolled over to get its tummy tickled by suicidal tendencies and Charlie Bins. And Killertron saw its hopes disappear into thin air with the thin end of the cheese wedge. Wheelosaurus caught fire, but then were extinguished. And then controversy returned to the arena in the heat final, when even though Wheelie Big Cheese went into the pit first, the judges ruled differently.
The judge says that suicidal tendencies track wasn't working for a long time during that fight, so you didn't have control. So the judges have gone for Wheelie Big Cheese!
The Tate family, Centurion, didn't stick around for long in Heat 9. He went roaming into an arm wrestle with House Robots a Killer-Lot and got the thumbs down from our Coliseum Caesars. Benny, Vidi, Vobbly, it came, it saw, and that's the rest. A splinter movement then proved too strong for Kilohertz, all hot, bothered and steamed up. Eric then made light work of Small Talk with the use of its unique spatula tongue. And in the heat final, tried to escape the clutches of Splinter, but to no avail. A hug, a kiss, a battle not to miss. Splinter went through. Heat 10 and Bulldog Breed gave the best of British to Spikeosaurus and managed to dodge the impressive Stinger too. Next up, Bigger Brother, but a broken gas valve meant they couldn't self-right and little Joe Watts could only look on in dismay. Stinger bludgeoned Hammer and Tong into submission in an all-Lincolnshire battle. Stinger fast emerging as major but surprise contenders, Hammer and Tong, Bing Bong. And then in the heat final, Stinger met Bulldog Breed again. The Stinger stung. The doggy was left with the tail between his legs. The pendulum mace of Stinger had been too powerful. This robot was proving hard to tag. In Heat 11, no sooner had Evil Weevil and previous winner Kevin Pritchard entered the arena than it was out again on our Evil Ejector. Something along with Shunt gave 28th seed Weldor's hopes the axe. And another self-proclaimed Emperor, Tiberius, went in against Little Fly, but like the moth flew in ever-decreasing circles and ended up in the pit of oblivion. Something grounded themselves and their winning streak on their own chassis, and the Mousetrap snapped up victory just against Little Fly thanks to a judge's decision.
And they've gone for Mousetrap!
With a little help from the team at RAF Odeon, Plunderbird 4 arrived in style for Heat 12. Great entertainers and sports, they hyped the hype. They talked a good fight, but as usual, Mike and Brian's bark, I'm afraid, was louder than their bite. They had a pre-taste of victory. The Plunderbird boys had come a long way, baby, when Fat Boy Tin got one in the eye. But Nightmare made their worst dreams come true. They were flipped up, over and out of the competition. As the Nightmare spun around in our thoughts and in its deeds. The words, of course, came from Plunderbird. They didn't go quietly.
How well are you going to do? How are you going to beat everyone up? You're not making so much noise now, are you?
Well, it's a slight mechanical malfunction, but actually before we leave you for this war, we'd actually like to make some noise of our own. Right, listen you lot, follow me. Shout out loud, make lots of noise.
Shout out loud, make lots of noise.
There's damage to be done by the Plunderbird boys.
There's damage to be done by the Plunderbird boys.
Gonna stamp on you, gonna hit you hard.
Gonna stamp on you, gonna hit you hard.
Gonna send your robot to the breaker's yard.
Gonna send your robot to the breaker's yard.
What's the word? Plunderbird!
The Heat finals saw the Essex boys and Spawn of Scudder put Nightmare to bed with a 120-mile-an-hour spike. Who needs a Sremac? Well, they did. Not to be outdone by Plunderbird, Sir Chromalot arrived in style in Heat 13, and this time they brought along a few supporters.
Who's going to win? Chromalot!
Oh yes, the class act had certainly returned. But sadly, the wheels came off their challenge early thanks to the Steel Avenger. Steve Merrill and Dave Whitehead had looked the tops, but they were top heavy. Wild Thing looked fearsome against Reactor, quickly getting to the core of the problem. and avoiding any fallout. Then driving skill and determination won the day against the Steel Avenger. Wild Thing were through for the Adams family. The 6th-seeded Behemoth returned in Heat 14. They rolled Arnold Terminator and rambled around the ring while the evil Ejector made light work of the ponderous 160-kilo Millennium Bug. Exterminator 2's new Streamec helped them to victory against Behemoth, but it was very, very close and it went to the judges. The penultimate heat saw Series 2 champions Panic Attack say clearly over and out to Overkill GTI and then raise a few issues with Sawpoint. Meanwhile, Smidsy was having fun showing Agrabot the sights. Hither and thither, the aggro started to wither, and Sir Killalot said, "Bye-bye, bot." Smidsy, though, proved no match for the driving skill of Kim Davis in the heat final, and Panic Attack was through to the semis once again. And in our last heat, Hypnodisc returned and took no time in reminding us why they've been dubbed the most destructive robot ever. We saw the insides of the Predator, and then late entrants VMAX probably wish they hadn't come at all. The boys from Hampshire looked as if they had a strong stomach for battle. We soon saw what they'd had for lunch, though. And finally, veterans Razorblade felt the full fury of Hypnodisc. The family rose had bloomed again. So, 16 robots were through to our semi-finals. In our first, 8 robotic gods lined up to win the coveted place in the grand final. Chaos 2 soon got rid of Steg 2, and Wheelie Big Cheese looked promising against Tornado until a weak titanium weld gave way and the wheels dropped off their challenge. Pussycat struggled at first against Thermidor 2, but the lobster ran out of steam, and the cat got the cream. Dominator 2 perforated Firestorm 2, and at that stage looked set to go through. Confident and powerful, but they hadn't reckoned on our 2 favourites. The reigning champions, Chaos 2, performing its party trick once more. And Pussycat and that awesome blade disrobing Dominator 2. And the cat went through to the grand final. Semi-final 2, and Stinger soon took the spring out of the mousetrap step. Immobilised, the trap was now set by the house robots, and Sir Killalot's mercy killing meant 1 down, 5 to go. Panic Attack soon sent Spawn scuttering back to Essex. Kim Davis and his former champions were highly fancied by now. And Hypnodisc turned the hopes of a very gallant Splinter into sawdust. Excellent driving skills from Nick Adams saw Wild Thing terminate Exterminator 2. The boast from the pits, "We'll be back, yeah? We'll be waiting." Then, one of the biggest surprises we've ever had. A thrilling battle. Panic Attack had the experience and fought weapons, but Stinger's innovative design meant it was hard to hit, and the judges by 1 point ruled it was the more aggressive.
They've gone for Stinger!
Then, Wild Thing stood up well to Hypnodisc's destruction, but there could only be one winner.
Based on the awesome destructive power of Hypnodisc, they've gone for Hypnodisc!
Pussycat! Hypnodisc! Stinger! And the reigning champs, Chaos 2!
The walls will work like this. Our 4 remaining robots will be paired off for 2 initial knockout fights. A 3rd and final battle at the end of the show will then decide who's going to be crowned Robot Wars champion. Let's see who's bashing who.
Craig, they're all seeds. The top seed's Chaos 2 meets Stinger. The second seed's Hypnodisc up against Pussycat. Now that's some tussle, I can tell you, Jules.
The Pussycat team is seeded 19th. It's phenomenal that they've got to where they are, but you need to go into that arena in a minute and do more damage. We've got the scalps here, everyone they've taken out, apart from Dominator. Now, I want to talk tactics, because you've drawn up against Hypnodisc, and my God, I wouldn't like to be you.
This is the moment of truth.
It is, isn't it?
And we're going to cream them.
Still confident as ever. We love this man's enthusiasm.
We're going to kill him.
Of course you are.
And if we don't, we'll go out fighting.
The Rose family, seeded number 2, but we think you are the favourites. I mean, these guys designed destruction. It's been awesome. You are 2 fights away from becoming the Robot Wars champion. How are you feeling?
Very excited and at the same time very, very nervous.
Who's driving?
I'm the driver.
Ooh, it's all on your shoulders, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you seem to sort of black everything else out. Once the 3, 2, 1 activates, all you're doing is concentrating on your robot and your opponent.
Let's hope so. Good luck. You deserve it.
Cheers.
Well, folks, this is what we've been waiting for. May the best robot win, and may there be some cataclysmic carnage on the way. Let the final wars begin!
Rob Banbury and seeded number 2, Hypnodisc.
Will the aluminium and mild steel shell survive the blade of Pussycat? Will the 750 RPM spinning disc send Kitty into itty-bitty pieces? Has a 3-mech and 20-mile-an-hour top speeds.
From Gloucester, seed number 19, Pussycat.
They believe that circular blade generated by a 24 brake horsepower motor can cause real damage. Don't forget they've beaten Razor, and the aluminium and polycarbonate design will stay firm, says David Gribble. I won't quibble.
Roboteers, stand by.
Hypnodisc with Dad Ken and the twins Dave and Derek. Spin to win, that's our motto, says Ken. Here's Pussycat, Alan Gribble. They're on the right, son David at the controls. Robin Herrick,
2,
team overseer.
1. Activate.
Pussycat immediately on the attack. Look at that blade, or something's come off there. Hypnodisc straight away. It's caused damage to Hypnodisc straight away. I think it caused damage to one of the wheels. I'm not too sure. Let's see if one of those wheels is locked up. Pussycat with their powerful circular blade, the saw blade causing damage to Hypnodisc. There it was to the rear wheel arch. And I think one of those wheels is locked up. That's why Hypnodisc can't drive. Now if Pussycat can push them into that CPZ, yes, the house robots can take over. They can attack once the machine goes into their corner. The corner patrol zone, and Shunt is causing damage to Hypnodisc. Will that aluminium and mild steel shell now withstand damage from the house robots? This is a real shock in the making. I can't quite believe it. No one really gave Pussycat a prayer against Hypnodisc, and they are stuck. That wheel is not moving, and look at that. That's damage to the enormously powerful blade of Hypnodisc, and it's stopped working. The blade has been immobilized. There is no weaponry. There is little movement for Hypnodisc. One wheel on your wagon. Around in ever-decreasing circles, I'm afraid. For Hypnodisc, what a surprise this is! Killalot has come in, and Killalot and the house robots have long awaited this moment. There are a few scores to settle for Hypnodisc. They've been brilliant competitors, I think, the Rose family. Great sports throughout, but they're out of it. Well, that's a typical sporting gesture from the Rose family. Alan Gribble, Robin Herrick and David Gribble are through. Do not quibble with the Gribbles!
Cease.
Well, would you believe it? Hypnodisc is in the pits. Pussycat roars again. Pussycat, go through.
Well done.
What happened there, guys?
I don't know. We had a bit of a trouble with the drive. I think it was on the left-hand side, and we just were in circles, so we were dead meat. And they sorted us out.
It happened really quickly. It went straight away, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was maybe that first time they hit us, or the second time something's come loose, and that was it.
And then you're in the CPZ with Shunt, and
yeah,
I think he's wrecked your disc, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's no mercy from him either. So
merciless Shunt. You seem to take it in good spirits. You were everybody's favourite.
Well, that's what happens.
That's what. All is fair in love and Robot Wars.
Yeah. It's been great fun. We've enjoyed it.
And you'll come back again, won't you?
Yep, we will do.
You certainly will. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Hypnodisc! Good lucky, guys. Yes! Can you believe it? No! What were you feeling going into that battle?
We were terrified. We were terrified.
I can't believe you've done it. I mean, it was the odds-on favourite.
I know. Like Rob, our other weapons man, he said that the blade will bend before it breaks, and he's right.
So, you through?
We're
If you can take out Hypnodisc, you can take out anyone.
And we're gonna.
And you're going to. That's what I like.
We are
More
gonna.
confidence.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pussycat!
The Rose family.
Oh, well.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
In a bin.
We needed to see that. You designed destruction, but how do you handle defeat?
As well as a victory, I think. It would have been nice to win, but we've had a great time. We've dished out more damage than what we received, so we're still in credit. It was great.
But what an awesome robot that Pussycat is.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It got us on the back end. I think that caused us a little bit of damage. Caused a bit difficult in steering.
Let's have a look. Can we see the damage?
Just a little nick in the back wheel there.
That's what it took?
That's what it took, yeah.
tiny
Jammed up
little
the rear
nick.
wheel and we were just going around in circles from then on. A little bit too close to shunt. In the disc, stop the disc, we were
Popped you right through the
weaponless.
disc, didn't it? Can't wait to see you back for more destruction in the next wars.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And get it together for the playoffs.
Yep.
Are you going to be functioning in the playoffs?
Might be.
David! Oh, I've got to give you a hug. That was the most amazing thing ever. Well done. Nothing can stop you now. Team! What have you got to say for yourself?
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
We can't still. Unbelievable. We took out his rear drive, but we bent our blade. Would you believe we bent our lovely blade?
We need that blade.
We've got another.
We had our blade spinning, and they had their blade spinning. The two met, and there was a big bang, and
I heard that.
something went wrong with us. But
You are through. One more fight, team. One more fight. I'm going to take you to the pits right now, and I'm going to help you work on that robot. Let's go.
What a stunner. Pussycat through Hypnodisc eliminated. Next up, Chaos 2, the reigning champions against Stinger. Will we have another surprise? What on earth happened to those Hypnodisc boys?
Team, talk me through the damage.
Well, what happened when we were in Shunt's PPZ, his axe went into the disc about here, and the speed of disc actually brought his axe into the robot and damaged the gearbox and the rest of the drivetrain back into the machine.
So you sort of destroyed yourselves, really.
In a way, yeah.
And are you going to be ready for the playoff?
I don't think so. There's about 2 days repairs to do there, so we're not going to manage it.
So it's 4th place. That's still an amazing achievement.
Yeah, we're very happy with that.
Good. One thing we've got to do, though.
In the bin.
The Stinger team looking pensive. You've had a wonderful history. We've seen the battles that got you here. What do you think is your strength?
Well,
Why are you here?
It's a really strong robot. Nobody seems to be able to touch it. And we got a weapon that hits.
It does too, doesn't it? Now, you're seeded number 30. You've done incredibly well to get here. But now you're up against the number 1 seed. That's got to be pretty nerve-wracking.
Well, he's only got a flipper.
He says that now, doesn't he? He's only got a flipper. He says it now. So what will your tactic be?
We're going to drive straight up, over the flipper, sit on top and thump him in the back.
Excellent.
Yeah. And avoid getting thrown out of the arena.
Exactly, that's the key thing with Chaos 2, isn't it? And you had some fighting talk you'd like to deliver?
Yeah, it's death or glory time. No surrender, no retreat. We're going for it.
Yes, let's get him in the arena. The Chaos 2 team, the reigning Robot Wars champions. You're here again.
We are.
How does it feel?
Brilliant, great fun.
Yeah?
Having a terrific time.
You never get nervous though, do you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Have you faced a robot like this before?
Yeah, not quite like this, no. No, this will go both ways up. It's got a very nasty weapon that swings around quite quickly.
It's difficult. And if you're going to toss it out of the arena like you've done, how many times in this wars?
Twice, and hit the camera with another one.
From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
Because of 18 miles an hour top speeds, no one can tag these underdogs. The thumping on the back will come from the pendulum-like swinging axe. Can Chaos 2 penetrate those motors mounted in the wheels?
From Ipswich, seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
Would you believe the champ spent just £250 to build this? Lawnmower motors provide the drive, liquid CO2 from a fire extinguisher provides the power behind the most effective flipper we've seen in these wars.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's the Stinger from Lincoln. Tin Man there on the left had the boast of victory. Niall Skinner and Kevin Scott, his teammates, Chaos 2, with George Francis ever ready at the controls, Ian and Richard Swan, with Richard just 9 years of age.
charity event.
Replacing the grand final against Pussycat. Chaos 2 lining up the flipper immediately to get in underneath the back axle. But Stinger, that won't worry Stinger. Can bounce, spin and come down. Look at the bounce of those customised motorbike wheels. Little damage. You have to get Stinger towards the arena wall, Chaos 2, and get him out of the arena. And also dodge that swinging pendulum axe type mace. Bang and crash. Bash. There's George Francis at the controls of Chaos 2. Little Richard from Castle Hill Junior School alongside him. And another attack on Stinger. The flipper rises, settles into its mounting. Chaos 2 hops and skips. A little bit of a jump, turns. Stinger also spins. Oh, and there's the power of the weapon. Did you see crashing on the side there of Chaos 2? At the moment, though, polycarbonate and aluminium strong enough, but they've got into a CPZ. That's tough. And I think they might have sustained damage. Have a look at this again. As they go into Stinger here, look, the back plate comes off. That's what Kevin Scott said he'd do. Knock the back plate off, and George Francis now knows that the very innards of Chaos 2 are vulnerable and exposed. They went into the CPZ, which wasn't good control, and also they've left themselves now vulnerable to attack. Surely not another major surprise here. Both the favourites, the seeds to crash out. Chaos 2 has a lot of work to do, because if this goes to the judges, they will mark on damage, style, control and aggression, and Stinger, very aggressive. Of course the damage. Chaos 2 needs to get in under and have a couple of flips. Again, I wonder how many machines in future wars will copycat the design of Stinger. Chaos 2 has bashed it into the CPZ, and now Dead Metal, momentarily had Stinger in its claws. Away goes Stinger. Look at this. This is a good drive here by Chaos 2. Digging in deep. Stinger flicked up into the CPZ. Dead Metal had control. Chaos 2 tried to roll them both out of the arena, and Stinger dug deep with the mace itself. Lives to fight again. Spin Stinger. This is going to be close. I just wonder whether that damage you can see there could be telling as it goes to the judges to decide who leads Pussycat in the grand final of Robot Wars.
Well. What a fantastic battle. Of course, it's going to go to our judges. I wouldn't want to make the decision.
Very tight, wasn't it, Craig? We don't have to make the decision. These boffins do. I can't call it. Chaos 2 starting strongly. Aggressive. Point score. But then sustaining damage there. Stinger suddenly on top. Only for Chaos 2 to finish the stronger. This is very, very close.
You've never had a judge's decision before with your robot, have you?
No, very nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking, isn't it? Very tense, sweaty palms. Are you nervous? The judges went with aggression. Both you equal. Style, both you equal. Damage, both you equal. On quality of control, the judges have gone for Chaos 2! Guys, what a valiant effort.
It was a tough call.
It was a tough call. The judges took ages making up their minds. But you've done it ever so well. You got so far. Your robot, I thought, was virtually unbeatable unless you could get it out of the ring, and that's what Chaos 2 was trying to do, but it couldn't achieve it. And you're quite tenacious.
We wiggled, we struggled.
You're a slippery set of customers. Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
You're not too disappointed?
We did it for all the roboteers, all the engineers, all the modellers in Lincoln. Lincoln!
Here you go. Big up the Lincoln posse. Well, you're not going to get to face Pussycat in the final, but you've done very well getting this far. For the Stinger posse! Oh.
Close. Don't get much closer than that.
In the 2 wars you've had, you've never had a judge's decision before. That's how sort of awesome your robot's been, but that one was down to the wire, wasn't it?
Medal match there, yeah.
What about Pussycat then?
It's going to be another close one. It really is.
It's a big robot. It's got a really vicious blade on it as well.
Yeah. Again, it works both ways up.
What do you think, young man?
I didn't really expect us to come this far.
You didn't really expect to come this far this time?
No. We've
well,
got
as
there.
I said, no champion's ever retained his championship. You're 1 fight away from Robo Glory. Let's hear it for Chaos 2!
Oh
Tears in the gears.
well. Yeah, well, it had to happen sooner or later, didn't it?
Now, what was going through your mind when you're waiting for that judge's decision?
It was just so close. You couldn't imagine which way it was going to go. We thought we'd win on damage because their back plate came off.
And you planned to do that, didn't you?
We did, that was the plan. Yeah, get over the back of him, smash his back plate
So
off.
that was good control. What do you think went against you in the judges' minds?
Control, as they said.
Just a little bit more practice on the driving. He's been doing it for a couple of years, and we've been doing it for one.
You've done incredibly well. You've secured third place for yourselves because Hypnodisc aren't here for the playoffs. I mean, it's such an achievement. How do you feel after all that work?
Absolutely on a high.
Yeah.
We're well above cloud 10 and still going.
Yes! And you'll be back for more, we hope.
You bet we will.
I must say, it's lovely to see this team doing some work.
Yeah, we got a bit of a dusting that time.
You know you've got first or second place. Would you be unhappy with second?
No, we've had a great time. It's terrific, but I really want the time.
George, no Roboteer has ever successfully defended the title. You have a chance. Stinger out, so Chaos 2, the reigning champions, through to our grand final. They will meet the underdogs Pussycat, and this for the title. Fourth Wars Grand Champions. But before we return to the arena for the grand final, there's just time to commend all our Roboteers for their hard work, innovation and creativity. Because the Fourth Wars has been the best yet. All the robots have stood their ground and fought to their last drop of oil. We've seen a wide variety of design, weaponry and destruction, and in recognition of our team's achievements, we've our special Merit Robot Wars trophies.
What more could you possibly want?
First up, the Sportsmanship Award, given in honour of the behind-the-scenes generosity of spirit and effort which makes Robot Wars the fun it is, the taking part and not the winning. The nominations: Sir Chromalot with Steve Merrill and Dave Whitehead, great fun with the Pom-Pom Girls. Superb entertainers, not very good in the arena. Cease. Back again, Duotor, Kieran Byrne and Peter Redmond, the boys from Dublin. Again, they didn't go too far in battle, but behind the scenes, they helped everyone else out. A spot of welding from Kieran, bit of electronics from Peter. And Plunderbird 4. Mike and Brian pulled out all the stops, arriving in style in the Chinook. They didn't go very far in battle. The winners, Duotor for the third year running, the original Good Samaritans behind the scenes. The Most Original Entry Award to go to a robot created with a unique, fun and destructive design in mind. The nominations: Robo Chicken, not really destructive, but great fun. I'm afraid to say they didn't get a great deal of luck in the arena. Gemini, a clusterbot, the first ever, brilliant design, a feat of engineering skill, double trouble, a twin set, and Pearl for the future. Something. All built from second-hand parts, a new age roboteer striving to compete against the super electronic forces of the future. And Pussycat, like a cat on a hot tin roof, always lands on its feet, a destructive blade. We didn't quite see its full potential, I feel. Maybe next time. The winner, the brilliantly original Gemini, has that set a trend for the future. The Best Design Robot Award. This takes into consideration the weaponry, the machinery, the hardware, the big picture. And the nominations: Pussycat, second nomination for Alan Gribble and driver son David. Maneuverability and mashability married here. It can destroy at speed. Next up, The Creature. Saw them in the third wars with Tunturin. Better design with a flipper and greater maneuverability, if not too much speed. Lovely artwork too. Thermidor 2, semi-finalists with a pneumatic flipper which could lift 100 kilos or more, electronic claws. They'd learned a lot from mistakes in previous wars. And Gemini once again, 2 pneumatic flippers, each half independently controlled. You'd have to be a genius or schizo to come up with this design. And we say genius, a second award for Gemini, deservedly so. The Best Engineered Robot, only 3 nominations, no one came close for pure engineering refinement. For the bits in the box you never see the inside. It's Chaos 2 nominated, reigning champions George Francis, an electronic engineer himself. No changes to the machine, through to the final once more, says a lot about its power. Steel Avenger, John Willoughby and his team, veterans of the wars, constantly improving the robot. This year came with an axe, with a self-righting mechanism, and a duster to clear up the mess. And Stinger, Kevin Scott and the boys from Lincoln with this ingenious design, all the electronics held inside 2 impregnable wheel hubs. And the winner, Steel Avenger and John Willoughby, his first award, long awaited. The Best Newcomer Award for those Robot Wars fans who watched previously, learnt and then entered the machine themselves this time, like Robo Chicken, plucky, brave, fun design, but it had an axe and a flipper too. This was no featherweight, but chickens don't survive when a cat's in the roost. Tornado semi-finalists souped up their motors to 36 volts, giving extraordinary speed and power. They beat Gemini. This nomination is well-deserved there. A Tillither-drum, a mace-like weapon, a manic spinning motion, a whirling dervish, but perhaps better control next time around. And Mousetrap snapped up this nomination for originality of design of that deadly weapon, ensuring it was Gorgon's over for the unwary opponent. But the winner, mainly because of that victory over Gemini, Tornado! And just time to mention our other 2 arena events running in parallel to the big heavyweight competition, the Sumo Basho. Panic Attack, the only robot to survive. You had to stay on the Basho floor longer than Shunt. And Kim Davis managed it with Panic Attack. Well done. And the Pinball Warrior Tournament, Gemini, a staggering 255 points amassed around the arena floor. Hit the objects and the targets, dodged the house robots. They came late on in the event, Gemini, with a wonderful run to take the title of Pinball Warrior Champions. Gemini.
Oh, yes. Yes. This is it. After 16 heats, 2 semi-finals and more than a little heartache, just 2 robotic gods remain to do battle. And in the end, only the fiercest will be crowned Robot Wars Grand Champion. Let the final war begin!
From Ipswich, seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
Can they become the first to successfully defend the title? George Francis on the left, Ian Swan on the right with son Richard.
From Gloucester, seed number 19, Pussycat.
The challengers, brainchild of Robin Herrick there in the middle, Alan Gribble on the right and son David on the left.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
2 of the best drivers in Robot Wars history, young David, and of course George Francis, Pussycat with the blade, Chaos 2 with the flipper, even Stephen so far. Pussycat manoeuvres to come in on an attack, no dodges. There's David Gribble at the controls on the right, a student. Wants to work in special effects, and the effect of Chaos 2's flipper is to lift Pussycat up and over once and twice, tumbles onto its side. Rights itself. Aggressive work here from Chaos 2. Learning its lesson from a nervy battle against Stinger. Again on the attack, flipping Pussycat up and over. Chaos 2 could be on the way here to defending the Robot Wars Grand title. Pussycat upended, comes smashing down again. You can see the damage it's causing to the arena floor there. Look at the sawdust everywhere on the arena floor. In underneath, Pussycat again on its side. Chaos, theory, no fact, says one of the banners. Chaos 2, suddenly gets wedged there on our own arena floor flipper. This is the ref cam on the ref bot, just judging to see if there's any foul play. At the moment, though, it's the kitty cat on the attack. What on earth was that came off? Look at this, something went very high. It was off the back of Chaos 2. I think it was only superficial. It was. Chaos 2 in underneath Pussycat. Chaos 2 has had a bumping though and a bruising. George Francis tentative at the controls, and it's Pussycat now on the upper and certainly finishing this stronger. I wonder If that was damage then to Chaos 2, because it certainly seems to have lost a little bit of its manoeuvrability, its speed across the arena floor, and I think Chaos 2 is damaged here. Pussycat's on its side, both of them limping, war-weary veterans of battle after battle after battle scar. There is something wrong with Pussycat's blade. It is not working. That's why they can't really right themselves as quickly as they have been before. Chaos 2, one last full frontal assault. Now senses victory is nigh. Oh, and very nearly got Pussycat up and out of the arena. Look at that. It would have been the third time in these wars that Chaos 2 has lifted an opponent up and clear away out of the arena. Also smashed into one of our cameras, as we heard earlier, and now pushes Pussycat into the CPZ. Chaos 2 will have to get away from Shunt. Do or die there, wasn't it really? It's death or glory for these two now. Pussycat, the weapon immobilised. George Francis, has he won it? Or has it gone to the Pussycat boys? Up in their control pod. Robin Herrick there in the middle, Alan and David Gribble unaware of their fate. It's gone to the judges.
What a fantastic battle, worthy of a Robot Wars Grand Final. Let's have a look at some of the highlights.
After so many battles, it comes to this. Chaos 2 on the offensive, tossing Pussycat around the arena floor. But then Pussycat came back and caused superficial damage to Chaos 2 before finally having its blade immobilised. The title, it comes down to this.
Judges have scored this on style, control, damage and aggression. Chaos 2 have won on all points. Chaos 2 are the Robot Wars Grand Champion! Guys, you've done tremendously well. Tremendously well. You made it to the finals of Robot Wars.
I'm happy with that.
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
And you're going to come back next time?
We'll be back next time.
You're going to try and go one better, aren't you?
They'll be ours.
Let's hear for the Pussycat Posse! All it needs now is for Jules to present the award. Our Robot Wars Grand Finalists, Chaos 2! Start the fires!
Clear the applause!
We found ourselves a winner on Robot Wars! Bye-bye!